And as you will see, folks, as you join, we've got with us the wonderful David Ross, the original Kryten, and also featuring later on as Talkie Toaster. So say hi to David. Hi, David.
Hi.
Nice to see you. And we've got, yes, Adelaide have joined us again. Good to see. So we're ranging from Adelaide to Florida at the moment.
Adelaide, really?
Yeah, Adelaide, yeah, which coincidentally the name of our lawyer. Our lawyer is called Adelaide.
Does he come from Adelaide?
She.
She.
I'm not sure why she's named Adelaide. Okay, so today, folks, it's Kryten. And at the end of today, we'll have a special announcement about next week. There's Ed with his Father's Day mug, although it was given to him years ago and the children haven't spoken to him today, apparently.
No, straight off the back of Mandalorian, which is, I'll talk about that later.
Hello, Robert from Germany.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody in.
Maidenhead. Oh, no, but lives in Cambridgeshire. That doesn't count.
Oh, well, there you go. That's not
And great to see you, David. Yeah, we got the wonderful David Ross here.
Oh, hi, hi, Maddie. Sorry, my daughter's on.
Yeah, say happy
Hi,
Father's
Maddie.
Day, will you?
Hi, Maddie. Hi, Marina.
Hi, the
There's
Netherlands.
Marina, she's on.
Okay, it is Father's Day. I hope you're all you fathers out there are being treated just the same as every other day, which is what happens to me.
Oh, sorry, Marina, it was you. I thought it was Maddie. God,
And it's Midsummer's Day. Lovely.
And it's solstice, which is often that Father's Day occurs on the solstice. So this is a special year. You can say that again. Very special, memorable year.
Yeah.
And so we did try a few weeks back to cover Kryten, but there was a major Zoom outage across the globe, just us, and so we thought we lost David and we lost Paul. We thought it wasn't really worth it.
We thought we'd do it again properly.
Yeah, do it properly.
Okay,
Don't do it at all. Do it properly.
Let's go, shall we? With
Okay,
Kryten.
so
on your Kryten.
It's season 2, episode 1, Kryten, and we'll press start in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Paul's late.
Paul's late. Hurry along, everybody. Paul's late.
Thanks, Angie, for the
I'll
Father's
pull
Day.
back now,
Appreciate
so I'm not too far behind, am I?
No, I think so. You're just the pull-out starting now.
it. Yeah.
Well, I've got my pull-out started already, so I'm ahead of you.
Oh, God.
Unknown route.
Hurry up, everybody. Paul's ahead.
So,
This was the first of the new series. I don't know in what order we recorded them. I suspect this wasn't the first because it's not got any outside broadcast shooting, and that thrilled us as writers to be doing that for the first time on this series.
Yeah.
So we'll have done that first, definitely.
so was the idea to bring in a mechanoid and to bring in Kryten, was that an integral part of planning for Series 2, Rob?
No, we were just we wanted to have more guest stars, and since we couldn't have aliens or humans, we kind of limited really. And so it was kind of inevitable that we'd have a robot guest one day. I'd resisted it very much because all sci-fi series have a bloody robot in them, and it's hard to come up with something new. But we did with David's character here, and with David's help as well. We got a new take on a robot, this kind of servile robot fighting his programming, which was kind of played into Lister's character, who's he's the rebel without a cause and stand up for yourself and just be defiant. That's Lister.
And did you write it specifically for David, Rob? Because you knew him from before, didn't you?
We'd worked with David and we wanted to get him on the series really because he's a very, very his ears listening. He's a very, very funny guy.
Really good model shot there, incidentally. It was so good that I think we hung on to that in the remastered and didn't replace it.
That's the crash, the other crash video. This is
great with booms in shot. We love a boom in shot.
with Tony Slattery, of course, voicing the androids.
Yeah.
So that's his first appearance on the show, I would think. Rob, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I love this joke. I love the whole android joke.
Well, at the time, Neighbours was so pervasive.
There's for David's first shot.
And there's David's first shot.
And the
Kylie
Gwendolyn joke.
We won't go into the Gwendolyn joke again. We all know the story of the Gwendolyn joke, but there it comes up in its first iteration, I think, Rob. First time we ever saw the Gwendolyn joke. So, David, how did they put it to you? How did you get the call to come and be encased in 8 hours worth of makeup?
Well, I can't remember exactly, to be absolutely honest. I think it was just a call from my agent. I guess it was just a straightforward thing of I can't remember whether I came to see anyone to audition for it even.
I don't think so, David. I think we just said, we'll have him.
Yeah, I think you need to audition.
That was how it was, yes.
Yeah.
I think you just had me.
I think we might not have mentioned you had to spend an entire working
breaking
day.
the news to you, David.
Yeah.
How long did it take you in makeup?
8 hours.
Oh.
I went in the chair at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I went on set about 4:30 in the afternoon.
And then had
in the
to
chair
work,
all that time.
had to work under the lights. I remember when you took the mask off, there was like a tsunami of sweat that came from the back of your neck. It must have been horrible.
That's one way to lose weight, ladies and gentlemen.
How many days did you do that, David? 2, I guess. 2
Yeah,
recordings.
just a couple of days, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the pre-records for instance, when you're watching Android and stuff.
And then you
Those pre-records. So in the main day, what you tend to do is rehearse in story order, do camera rehearsal in story order. So luckily for you, you weren't in the first scene, so you were able to start makeup at 8 as opposed to 4:30 in the morning. I don't know if the writers actually put that into consideration when they wrote the script.
And David, just to be absolutely clear, I know you told the story before, but when it came to bringing Kryten back, you were simply unavailable. There was no difficulty or issue between you and the show.
No, because when I filmed the original Kryten, it was filmed on a Sunday evening
Yeah,
in Manchester.
yeah.
Now, when I was asked to come and repeat the Kryten character, I was at the Old Vic playing in a farce, A Flea in Her Ear.
Yeah.
And you changed the filming night from Sunday to Saturday.
Yeah,
Which meant that I couldn't be released from the theatre piece to come up and do Kryten. So that's how I lost the part, because of other work, which I was in those days very, very busy indeed. And so consequently, I sometimes
You were
would be
very much a theatrical actor, weren't
with
you?
3
David?
jobs.
You were always on stage.
Yeah, I did a lot of stage work, but that's how it happened.
Right.
If you kept it to a Sunday, I could have done it.
Sorry about that, mate. It's the
Yeah, well, there
BBC's
you
fault.
go.
Nothing to do with us.
And then they brought you back, of
It's
course.
all right.
They wanted you there, David. They brought you back as Talkie Toaster, yeah?
Talkie Toaster. Well, I think I did Talkie Toaster early on, I think, from memory. But I certainly did it quite recently, actually. Talkie Toaster.
Yeah.
I did it about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. A couple of Talkie Toasters.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Nick Hopkins has got a quote from one of the fan scenes, David, you saying about being forced to wear the makeup. Christ, they haven't paid me a fraction of what they should for this.
Quite right, too.
David, did they alter their, I mean, given the difficulty, the first time it was fitted, did they have to kind of make it up as they were going along, and you say, well, that won't work, I can't move if you do it like that, did they?
Yeah, I think they did. I mean, the worst part was having a cast on your face, and you couldn't, you weren't able to breathe. You had to breathe through a straw while they put the cast on.
Oh, I know, God.
It was awful, because
I
I'm
couldn't
slightly
do that.
claustrophobic anyway. So
I couldn't do that.
And I had to keep saying, how long, pointing my watch and saying, how long have I got to be inside this thing?
About half an hour, wasn't it, David, to take the
About
cast?
half an hour,
Yeah,
just setting the...
Just to explain
actual mask.
to everybody, what that is that in order to make the mask, you have to get a cast of David's face.
That's
so
right.
there's a sort of special, I don't know what it's made of, kind of plaster that's mixed up and then and it's plastered all over his face. Then it has to dry, and it's taken off. Then the inside cast is what you can then base your model on.
That's correct, yes.
Somebody saying they don't understand why women wouldn't be suitable to play the cello, Rob. I don't think you need to explain that, do you? Just
No, not really. You have to use your imagination.
look at the gag and use your imagination.
David, do you prefer acting on stage or screen?
Well, I'm really a theatre actor, to be honest, because my often my performances are far too big for television. too full on. I played at the National Theatre about 8 times, and that holds 2,000 people. Well, I don't have a microphone, so I have to speak loudly and clearly, and so everyone can hear it. Come on television, I'm reduced to little looks and furtive glances and
this
quiet
performance
voice.
is very downbeat, David, isn't it? It's very small, actually. Kryten is a very quiet performance.
Yeah. Well, it was, I don't know where that character came from, but I mean, I just found that when I read the script, I found him quite, there's Woody Allen has an expression which is milk toast, which regards somebody who's sort of quiet and gentle, not gay, but has a sort of gentle nature and a sort of gayish way of behaving. And that's, I think I had that expression in my head, that Kryten was milk toast. Woody Allen would have described him.
That's a lovely word, actually. I've heard the milk toast before. It's not gay, as you say, but it's slightly prissy and slightly...
Yes.
We've just missed the dog milk joke, which is one of my
yeah, well, we can't miss
all
the dog
time.
milk joke. That is a joke.
Yes,
Have a drink it. Why does it
I think that sums him up, Kryten's good expression. He's milk toast.
He's dog milk toast.
Dog milk.
That's Joe O'Reilly.
Joe Sharple spells milk toast correctly as well, which is pretty bloody impressive.
This is Rimmer walking straight into his usual egotistical trap.
Well, one of the sort of driving things behind the idea of Red Dwarf was what if you strip everything in life away? What if there's no jobs, no money, no sex, except for Rimmer's various plastic friends? And so we thought it'd be nice to explore their reaction to the very thought of some female company.
Well, I love the preparations. I mean, this is a great sequence we're coming up to now, where they all get.
Yeah.
We're just going casual, we're not.
Yeah, it's pure. That's exactly. This is how we had to. This is how we would get ready on a Friday night.
On a Friday night.
You just put a camera on me. But I do remember once when we were going out Friday night, and Doug was wearing a shirt and it wasn't ironed. He tried to iron it wearing the shirt, and he was just going, "Oh!"
This is all subtly sped up, incidentally, everybody. That's why there's a lot of music on it, because you can't really speed up the sound. And so there's 1 or 2 effects added on. Obviously, the audience is not affected by that. But when you record it and speed it up, it screws up the sound. But there's 1 or 2 moments.
This is
He's really trying now.
On a Friday night. Get the least smelly sock out of the basket. This is all we do. And I think we're coming up to the trouser gag. Now, this is real life, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah.
The painting on of the chair.
Oh, Jez Harrison. Hi, Jez. Has just looked up Milk Toast, because that's the kind of guy he is.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a 20s comic character that it refers to, but the tagline's got a very Red Dwarf vibe. Casper Milk Toast is the man who speaks softly and gets hit with a stick. I agree.
That works, right? That works for this character.
Jane bigging up the strangers on YouTube. The bastard shouldn't have it, but there you are. At least you get to see it.
So, Rob,
so that,
you actually know somebody who'd painted a hole in their jeans like
bananas
this?
moving, everybody. Bananas are moving.
No, I think I did it on a pair of shoes once.
With a hole in the shoe and painted it on. Live of India. This is pre-echoes of Ace coming in here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, I guess it is. It's a harbinger, isn't it?
First appearance of Rimmer as a hero. And of
So
course,
that getting ready montage with Craig, that's the sort of thing, when you read it in the script, your heart sinks. Montage. We've been through this before. You shoot so much stuff, and then a fraction of it winds up, or
montages are the last thing a director wants to see, because it means I'm going to shoot for 4
it's
hours.
a montage.
I'm going to shoot for 4 hours for a 30-second sequence. is what
Yeah.
that means.
Yeah, that's about right.
And you've spoken about William Goldman's book about
Yes.
Adventures in the Screen Trade.
Yeah.
And he said he hates montages because basically it's a collection of scenes that you can put in any order. So how can you be advancing the story?
Well, it's a collection of scenes that the writer can't be bothered to write as well. It's just really lazy shorthand that writers love doing if they want to just move the plot on without explaining why.
Daniel, you never noticed that the banana moved before?
Oh,
no,
no,
it's a
but
weekly thing, mate.
You've spoiled this for a lot of people, Ed, I'm afraid.
It's never been still since it was hung.
Ollie's saying that Rimmer actually said, "What a guy in Me Squared." I didn't remember that. Is that true, everyone? Yeah.
No.
That's interesting. Well, now they want the banana to come to one of the commentaries.
Can we get a banana?
Yeah, we get the banana. The banana is writing a small pamphlet of handy banana notes, things I saw in Red Dwarf.
I wanted a scutter to come, but I don't know if there's a living example of them anywhere anymore.
Then there's a question, you get this quite a lot, so from Louise Bannister, was Ace based on Rick Mayall's Flashman in Blackadder? And no, he absolutely wasn't. I think
it was before, wasn't it?
I think it was before, but we were in rehearsals while they were doing Blackadder. In Acton, we were sharing rehearsals.
We were next to each other, weren't we? Yeah.
And I remember we were short an episode, and Rick says, "How's it going?" And I said, we're like 4 minutes short at the top of the show. He said, "Oh, just put a picture on and a bit of music." And I thought, you bastard, you could do that. You couldn't get away with it.
North Acton, we should explain, I'm sure you all know, but it was the rehearsal rooms. It was just on the A40.
Yeah. It was called the Acton Hilton.
The Acton Hilton.
And there was a lot of shows that were rehearsed in there.
There were 3 rehearsal rooms of Floorhead, and it was 8 floors, wasn't it?
And most TV shows were, including some dramas, were rehearsed in there. So it was really, I was astonished that the paparazzi didn't get hold of it and just sit there with cameras all day. They could have had a field day.
You got up to the canteen at lunchtime, and virtually the whole of British Equity was there.
Yeah.
You must have been there many times, David, to the Acton Hilton.
Yes. I've rehearsed a lot of things there.
You'd hear people coming in saying, "I loved you softly. Saw you last week. Loved you softly."
Alex Krishna's Happy Father's Day.
Oh, great timing of the sky.
He adapted a Christmas card and pasted Happy Father's Day inside it and sent it to his dad. That's a level of caring we as fathers really love.
So this sequence here, one of the things I kind of need to apologise to David in that set is that when we rehearsed in Acton, of course you've got like 8-foot ceilings, and then when you get into this set, it's built on its side, sloping, with about 19 hanging baskets, all of which were in the way of the action the entire time.
Yes, quite.
I'm sorry about that.
Why did you decide to build the set on a tilt rather than putting all the cameras on a tilt?
Because that's a very good question, Paul. Thank you.
Well,
Whenever you say that's a very good question, it means you don't know the answer.
Oh, we've got
probably because of the hanging baskets, so it'll look weird.
Well, yeah. I'm sure there is no good reason. Actually, it wasn't that easy with those big old cameras, Ed, to put them on a tilt, I don't think.
I don't think.
Why are the teddies hanging from the ceiling, Ed? Is that?
What?
There were teddies in the cockpit here.
Oh, in the cockpit, yeah, we had this Wally's wig.
Oh my God, yeah, Wally's wig.
We did have a lot of hanging.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Punchline, guys. The punchline to the getting ready. Holly's got a rug on. That's a brilliant idea. Yeah. What do you pay?
This is a good guy coming up.
Again, a lot of people asking Rebecca, David, particularly David, how you felt about acting with the rest of the cast.
Absolutely fine. I mean, I didn't know anyone before I came, although I had worked with Chris Barry, I think, on something else. But other than that, but of course we're actors. You're used to meeting new actors all the time, coming into different productions of any kind. So you kind of are fine. I think actors are most marvelous, generous people on the whole.
Yeah, I absolutely
quite happy.
And the thing is, I've always said that as writers, you don't get that. You really rarely meet other writers at work. You might meet them.
Well, I tell you what, Rob, when we put the team together for Carrots Lib and you all came into the office 5 days a week, I think that was the first time you'd been together as a gang.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. What a vibe. It is, like you say, it's great working with the peers. in your field. It's just that is a great joke. The cat joke being dragged away from the.
Okay, there it is on its tilt, and there's your hanging basket to annoy everybody.
This is Blue Midget. What? This is the first time we've been off ship in a sub model, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why did Blue Midget get replaced by Starbug in the end?
Oh, I really hated Blue Midget.
Why?
Poor
Well,
Blue
because it was if it had been one of the Thunderbirds, it would have been the one I didn't want. Whereas Starbug would be the first one.
Now, I just remember something about this scene, or actually it's the earlier scene when we first see David with the skeletons. In order to hold the gag back that the girls were dead, we covered the set up with a black, which is something I've never really done in a sitcom before. So the set, which is normally exposed and open to the audience, we hung a black in front of it to stop anyone seeing it, and then pulled it away at the last minute as a reveal to get the big fat laugh. And that's the first time I've ever done it. It works out well. I've done it a lot since.
Yeah. What was that?
No, we had to make a nasty edit here to take the word muck out of McNugget because we thought we were going to get sued by McDonald's.
Yeah, and you don't need it. A chicken nugget's funny.
It's a difficult edit though.
You said it. So how did you do it, Ed? You just blurred the sound, did you?
I think I had to make like a weird jump cut. You'll see it in a minute.
It's hard to tell amongst all the other weird jump cuts.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of your style. So David, I love David's writing. He spent the last thousands of years looking after these people. I've only been gone a minute. That is a great line.
Apparently, Netflix's subtitle still has McNugget. So.
Oh, really?
That's them.
Is anything the matter? I love this. I've only been gone a minute. There we go. That is a good line.
Another hanging plant annoying you there, David. Sorry about that.
Who would have thought to put a load of hanging plants in a tilted set?
Yeah, I know.
And I said this when David wasn't here, but this is an absolute masterclass in comedy acting because
it is.
He's got to keep the emotion and deliver the lines, and his whole world's suddenly stripped away.
The world is collapsing, yeah.
And he's still getting laughs with you that sure they're dead. It's really a masterclass, honestly, David.
Now, this is in front of an audience, of course, Ed, so presumably there's not many retakes here. I mean, this is pretty much as...
Yeah, and pretty much as... I mean, there were the days when we shot on tape and the time was available. If it was a good take, you moved on. So, a very funny scene there. The audience absolutely loved that last scene.
Yeah. It was a fantastic.
Somebody asking, did you know Rob and Doug beforehand? And of course, the answer is yes, you did. David, you've done a radio series with them, hadn't you?
Yeah, we've done a couple of radio series. We did quite a few episodes of Wrinkles, set in an old people's. It was a surreal sitcom where some of the characters were played by musical instruments.
And who was David?
David was the funniest character in it, really. He was... Mr. Pettigrew was just so enthusiastic about everything and so stupid. It was a fantastic comedy character.
It's a very funny comedy character. Can we get that, Rob, anywhere? Can you find that on YouTube anywhere?
I don't know. I can post it on the website, actually. I'll post it.
Now, this is a montage I did enjoy because it did actually progress the story.
Right, yes, this one does progress the story.
Yeah.
Rob, just picking up on that, because it is a very funny comic performance. If you could put that up.
Yeah, it was a very interesting series. I did say this last time. It got the lowest audience appreciation index in history, except for one show, which was a radio a quiz show where they had the wrong answers to the questions. So we were just slightly better than that. 17 we got out of 100, I think.
Well, now listen, Rob, I've got to tell you, I believe I got the lowest ever appreciation index for a TV show, which was with the legendary Mr. Tony Hawks. We did a series based on his Morris Minor's Marvelous Motors, and I loved the series, actually. I thought it was very funny. It was a kind of family entertainment on 5 o'clock on a Saturday. But we got an audience index of 24, which I think is the lowest ever.
Morris and the Miners, wasn't it?
It's meaningless, isn't it?
Morris Minor's Marvelous Motors.
Right, sorry.
He'd had a single, a record out. of that name, and he wrote a series about a man running a little motor repair
Yeah,
shop.
I remember actually. He
Camille
wasn't
Kaduri was his.
awful by any means. These are same plants from the Nova 5. I imagine they are.
Yes, come on, we're on a budget here.
Oh, and apparently this is the only episode of Red Dwarf with
boobs
boobs in it. There's a little statue in the background.
Well, I didn't know. That's a good quiz question. Is that do boobs ever appear in Red Dwarf? And the answer is yes. Series 2, Episode 1.
I mean, I think wherever they could, they just get things out of the prop cupboard. I love that dance you do, David, with the androids.
Android hands. So nice.
The android dance.
Oh,
So
looks
now,
nice.
David, you're going on quite a journey here because you are literally programmed to serve, and suddenly you've got to go through this renaissance. Yeah.
He hasn't quite got there yet. I like the way that the mask the mask sometimes has a frown in it, which I rather like. I always thought that it would be nice to be just flat like that, but when you see slight movements in it, it is nice.
David, could you hear the other actors easily with your ears all blocked like that?
Yes. Yeah, there were holes in the. They left holes, and yeah, I could hear them fine.
I love that Kryten's dream about growing a garden.
And I love this character's going on a journey, you know, programmed to serve, but he's just beginning to show the cracks. It's just beginning.
Mr. Arnold's list of things to do.
Oh, look, it's computer printout paper. That's
Absolutely, that's the way to go. Just cut it in half.
before we got proper printers. Those printers were awful. They used to be so
Oh,
noisy.
they
It'd
take
take
and
forever.
you get a pile of paper like this.
Yeah, dot matrix stock, yeah.
Yeah.
But before that, before the photocopies really came into their own, we used to use something called Gestetners. Do you remember those,
Oh,
Paul?
God, yeah.
Etna, yeah.
It was like printing money, wasn't it? They had
Yeah.
to plate.
Each page was like.
But
When we got our commission to write the Red Dwarf novel, we spent pretty much all of it on a laser printer, which cost $5,000 back then for a laser printer.
wow.
Jez, I'm not sure how familiar you are with Ann Summers products, but I don't think you'd get that for 15 quid from Ann Summers. I think that would be 100, to be honest. A nice little plastic French maid's outfit, I don't think runs up at 15 quid in Ann Summers.
Now, I'd mentioned this last time. This was
We love
slightly
it.
annoying curtain at the top of the bunk. It kept either flopping in front of Craig's head or landing on top of it, but it never quite got in the right position. But, yeah, it doesn't worry you until you point it out.
Antoinette saying that $5,000's the same price as ink for the printer's cost now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
true.
yes.
Very true.
The painting gag now we've got the famous painting on. Did we work out whether it ever went? Because this is such a fabulous painting.
No, we
Somebody
don't.
must have it. Somebody saying the original was sold on eBay?
Really?
I
You
guess.
did explain at the time, Rob, the monkey picture that this was based on was a best-selling print, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah, it was a monkey sitting on a toilet.
Which is what gave you this idea.
And I think Chris is very good here at becoming so pompous. And, you know, it's great because he's heading for a big fat fall. And we were talking about not revealing the picture and when you reveal the picture. It's a question of timing.
Yeah, and there is an interesting question, David. Once you got the makeup on, how long did it sort of take you to work out what you could and couldn't do with it? Did you get a time to sort of say, oh, well, if I frown, it doesn't really work, but if I smile, it works, or anything like that?
Sorry, Rob, I didn't quite get that.
Well, once you got the mask on,
Yes.
did you get a chance to sort of see what it could do, you know, whether it registered?
Did you have to rethink the performance
Wow.
there once you saw what it looked like through the mask?
No, it just came from inside somewhere. I don't know where it came from, but I didn't look in the mirror to see how
Didn't.
it would work. I just did it instinctively.
So you rehearsed without the mask, and then with the mask on, you did exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it comes
sort
through
of.
so well. It comes through so
Good
well.
stunt coming up, considering you probably
Good
couldn't
stunt
see
coming
out of your mask.
Now the
Nicely done, perfectly placed,
Question
David.
here,
Thank you
eh?
very much.
You're throwing the tureen of soup over the bed.
Yeah,
question here,
perfect,
Ed, if-
perfect
and
timing,
not-
perfect
not just
positioning.
on this one, but on many things. Supposing you'd had to do a retake on that,
Yeah,
You've got
God.
to strip out the whole bed and make it all again. And
Yeah, it would have taken at least a reset of at least 10, 15 minutes, which would have killed us.
Yeah.
that's when my pencils start flying.
There you go.
No, it's not gazpacho.
And
Well done. Nice
fantastic-
end frame of you, David. We should get that.
final shot.
We should get that printed for you.
The Marlon Brando Rebel Without a Cause shot. Good movie, by the way, folks. I'm sure you've all seen it, but a great movie. So,
Very good.
there
Well
we
done, gang.
go, guys.
Well done, everybody.
Have you got the legendary missing scene? Is this something special we can offer?
Oh yes, no, yes. Listen, guys. I'm
This is very
sure.
special, guys.
I'm sure you know this. Those of you who've seen the extras, but I'd completely forgotten about it, and so had Paul and Ed. But this is an outtake scene from the top of the show, I think.
Catch duet with Talkie Toaster.
The cat's
Talkie
duet.
Toaster never recorded. They're subtitled here. You
this
can't
is-
see the subtitle on this, unfortunately. But
We can't see the subtitles on
This
this.
is the old Talkie Toaster, although you don't hear it. It would have been John Lennon, not David at this point.
Ed doing a bit of Top of the Pops directing there.
yeah.
Hold it! What are you doing?
So that was never
What
recorded.
you're doing is you're coming in too early. You're coming in on the E when you should be coming in on the Y.
So you were a backing vocalist there, David, for the cat. Presumably, we would have had to get you wailing. But luckily for you, it never went out, so we never got you to
I'm
do
guessing
voiceover.
that would have been John Lennon on that episode.
Maybe, don't know.
I wonder why we cut it though, because that's
It's very funny.
a funny scene.
I
Well,
guess
it's a
it
good
must have
gag.
been just for time. It was a long show, you know.
Yeah, but bloody hell, that's a good gag cut there.
But was it?
Those gutters can really play, man.
Yeah, man. Rob, was that actually specifically for that episode for Kryten? Or-
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Actually, if you go over it and look, you can see the crew in the reflection of the
Reflection of the
poster.
poster.
Oh, good. Nice and professional.
Yeah.
Alan is saying that David really carries that episode, which is a clever trick when you're coming into a very established cast like this to just
Absolutely.
become the centre of an episode. It's a very nice performance, David.
And I have to say, I don't think, credit to David, I don't think we've really done that in many other or any other episodes where another character comes in and actually carries the show like that.
Yeah,
And, it's tough opposition with those guys, but I have to say it was really, really good. I was really impressed. And, now when you look at it, it's still a fantastic performance, David, so congratulations.
Where was that deleted scene, Ed? Was that in the canteen or somewhere?
Yeah.
Who painted the picture? Do we know?
Art department. That's all I can tell you.
That's the wonderful thing at the old BBC. You just said, we need, that monkey poster, we need that with Rimmer. And you turned up in the studio and there it was. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the wonderful days of the BBC. We were talking about Home Sweet Home on the dramas
Yeah.
last week. They just did stuff like that. It was so glorious.
And also this episode, is also got the improvements we made from the series before, particularly in terms of colour. Like looking at the picture behind you, Paul, the amount of stuff hanging upside down umbrellas and things like that just to bring colour out. And also this episode, the audience were phenomenal. I mean, it's such a joy when the audience blasts like that, particularly.
There's two things here, isn't it? This is season 2.
Yeah,
So the audience were now coming in, knowing the show and being fans of the show.
yeah.
And also you decided that the whole thing was too grey. And
Yeah.
suddenly the set was getting cluttered with bananas and hanging flower pots and so on.
Yeah, so we want to introduce some colour into it, and I think it really worked well in this episode. Although we might have gone a bit too far with the hanging plants.
Oh no, is the television centre now flats on Oxford Street? Oh god,
It is.
the road. Oh no.
Not that we ever shot this at the television centre, guys, I have to tell you. This never went near the television centre. The television centre, the Donuts, as it was called, where Ed and I worked and Rob, we were over the road.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. I thought the one in Manchester is that.
Oh, the
still
one in Manchester is Dickinson.
Oh, has it been flattened? Oh, yeah.
the
Has it
same?
really?
It's actually a car park, Curtis says.
So where is BBC Manchester now?
Well, Salford, I suppose.
Salford.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
all down at Salford, isn't it? Of course it is. I'm being stupid. I've been down there, yeah. Of course it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a shame.
Which is where Donna Di Stefano works, I assume, we heard last week.
Yeah.
So, Rob, somebody commenting on the poster at the back there. So we've got a
Oh,
bit of
right, yeah.
you folks, which we can reveal.
Yes, this is it's kind of been sprung on us. We were hoping for a little bit more notice, but we've been working with the Royal Theatrical Fund, who are very interested by our lockdown theatre notion of live table reads, and they've asked us to produce this, which is a bit of Waiting for Godot, starring Robert Lindsay and Michael Palin. And if that doesn't get your mouth watering enough, it's narrated by Joanna Lumley. We were struggling to get the rights, but we finally nailed them. For one night only, we can't broadcast it after
This
that.
one we really can't broadcast. This is not me. This is the Beckett estate. It's a one-off, folks.
So that's next Sunday at 7. It's extra to this. We'll be doing our commentary again on the Sunday, but guys, it's for a charity. The whole problem is, you know, a lot of industries are under the hammer with this virus, but particularly the theatrical industry. There are theatres closing, and they may never reopen their doors, and we've no idea practically when theatres are going to be able to accommodate enough people safely to validate their existence. So in the meantime, we're trying to help things along with the Royal Theatrical Fund, and these tickets are £35 each, and they won't let us discount them for you guys, but they did say we could announce it first here. It's 17 quid. Sorry, 35 quid. I'm thinking between you. It's like a Chinese meal, guys. So that was Ed's idea.
Yeah.
It's 7 o'clock next Sunday.
Here's the link. It's not live yet.
The announcement is tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. But you guys, if you know about it, if you did want to sign up for a ticket, you can get in first because it'll only go to the press at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Rob, where is that link? Will that be on the site?
I've just posted it now, and we'll put it up on the site as well.
So look, if you did want to, it's Michael Palin, Bob Lindsay, Joanna Lumley, directed by Jonathan Church. There'll be a Q&A afterwards. It's not the whole play; it's about 28 minutes of the play, and there'll be a proper Q&A afterwards.
And I've seen some of the rehearsals, and Beckett's one of my favourite plays. I did it for A level. Yeah, I did A levels. Fuck you lot. These guys find new comedy in it that you didn't really realise was there.
Beckett always said it was a comedy because in the early days it was played very seriously. Have you ever done it, David? Waiting for Godot. Have you ever played it? It's seen as quite a serious play, and of course it is about the desolation of humanity, but it's also a very funny play, and I think Michael and Robert are playing for the comedy. But it was interesting talking to Robert yesterday, and I said, it's a hell of a learn, Robert. It's really dense dialogue. And he said, you know what? It's not a bad learn because great writers give you learnable dialogue. He said, it's not that difficult to learn because it's just so beautifully and rhythmically written. So look, it's a different thing, guys. We would never charge you 35 quid for anything that we did. It will be on Zoom. Somebody's asking. Yes, it will. You'll get you've got to go a couple of links down, but it's exactly the same as this. You follow the link. You
follow the link. You're on an Eventbrite page. You
pay your 35 quid, and then you'll get your email next week in the normal way. It is a different thing, as I say, and the best we can do for you is to get you in first. So,
Glenn Harrison saying he saw it with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
Yes, that's right. They did, and of course
Rick and Aid did it as well. Yeah,
Rick and Aid as well. Yeah, but these, I mean, between them, Lindsay and Palin have got, 2 lifetimes of excellent comedy experience. It's just a thrill.
Of course, the last time they worked together was with David on Bleasdale's GBH, so David knows them both well. And they are comic geniuses, they are. And it will be a treat. But listen, 35 quid, I understand it. But it's there for you. You get first dibs tomorrow morning. So password needed, yes. You will need a people are saying it's needing a password. I think, Rob, that's because it's not live yet. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's not live yet, guys. Sorry, I thought, yeah, it's dormant. It's a dormant thing. I think he's counting down on there now. It's up till 9 o'clock tomorrow. Seb,
Live 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
wonderful Seb, Patrick set this up.
Yeah, big thanks to Seb.
God,
Yeah,
no.
definitely.
And we've been really knocking themselves out in the last 3 days. We were told on Friday afternoon that they wanted to do it next Sunday, which is, quick. But it will be in the press. There'll be a general press release tomorrow. So I think by tomorrow afternoon.
No, Patrick Stewart, not Patrick from ITV.
Not Patrick from ITV. He is doing it with Ruby. Patrick from ITV and Ruby are doing the version of Waiting for
No,
Godot.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to set it up. Ready for Godot with Ruby Wax and Patrick from ITV.
Yeah. So I'd pay £35 for Patrick and Ruby. There you are. Well,
Do you know what, Mike? I would too.
yeah, we'll try and get that together. Meanwhile, we will do the normal 2 o'clock, and we're not quite sure yet. We're just talking to various guests. So we will do either Parallel Universe or Thanks for Memory, depending on the guest. And that'll be in the normal way at 2 o'clock next Sunday. And then Sunday evening, a one-off not to be repeated.
Okay, and we do expect this to sell well and quickly because the RTF have got a lot of connections. They've got a PR company on it. It's going in the Telegraph. It's all the broadsheets, the Metro. So we do expect some kind of response. So get in if you want it, guys.
Get in there. It's a price of a...
Thanks, Alex.
Price of
Well,
an...
Patrick, I wonder if Patrick ITV does know he's famous. I'm not sure. By the way, guys, we tried to get him back the next week and we just couldn't find him. We've tried phoning the number and we think he was an engineer just testing the line or something. But if we could have found him, we'd have got him on. But
The hunt's still on. I'm not getting up yet. I'm going to find him.
It's been, and it has been a brilliant week, sort of hooking up with Michael Palin and Robert and Joanna Dreamboat Lovely.
Michael,
I call her Joanna Lovely. That's wrong, isn't it?
Michael, you're saying, can it sell out? Listen, the Zoom limit is 1,000 tickets. Although at the moment we're only set up for 500, and we won't go over that unless we get 500. So I think if it's 9 o'clock in the morning, I think if you go straight to it when you wake up, you should be okay. But we do expect the tickets to have gone by next Sunday for sure.
Yeah.
I suspect you'll be okay if you get on at, when you wake up a reasonable time in America. So the most seats that will be sold actually will be just under 1,000 because we've got to have some technical people on the site as well.
Yeah, and remember, it's not just one viewing; it's everyone you're isolated with, or your social. What do they call it? What bubble is it? Your social bubble?
Social bubble. A couple of people asking about the Chuckle Brothers. I actually didn't work with them in Manchester, but I had the great pleasure. They were lovely, lovely guys. Probably one of the last jobs that. Which is Paul's still alive, isn't it? It's one of them died, and I can't remember which one.
Barry
died.
Recently, yeah.
But they did Benidorm for us. They came over to Benidorm in the last series to do a ridiculous magician's dove act for us. Which, I mean, they're not magicians. We had a specialist magician there trying to hide this dove in a hat for Barry and Paul to produce. It was a very funny time, and we ended up in a bar with Hale and Pace, the Chuckle Brothers, Shane Ritchie, and we took a picture and sent it to the head of BBC Comedy saying the future of British comedy.
Hey, wait a minute.
Shane didn't answer.
Sorry, Paul.
What do you do? What?
Somebody's saying that they went out for a drink when they were working in the theatre with the Chuckle Brothers and Rick and Aid. That sounds
that would
like
make sense because the Chuckle Brothers are loved by there were certain established that the so-called alternatives loved. They were accused of hating all traditional comedy, but they loved Pete and Dud, for example. They love Morecambe and Wise, and they love the Chuckle Brothers. So I can quite believe Rick and Aid going out with the Chuckle Brothers.
I remember Rick thought Ken Dodd was the funniest guy on the planet.
Yes, he did. And
he had respect for a good comedian.
yeah,
I think his favourite was Tony Hancock, funny enough.
I think most comedians, they know how hard it is, and they have respect for people.
Yeah.
As do all of us. And that's why we love David and why we've loved having him with us this afternoon, because although he's a serious, legit actor, he also knows how to do comedy. And thank you so much, David.
Yeah, thank you, David.
Donna Di Stefano, according to Alex, worked on Chuckle Vision in the first few series.
Yes, so I hear. She's, by the way, you all know now about the upcoming documentaries about Red Dwarf. Donna's in the first one of those, interviewed a couple of times in the first documentaries. They're very good, guys. You should look forward to them. They're very well done by the smashing team at North One, who are real experts on this kind of thing. So, guys,
you're right. There is something about Hancock's half hour about Bottom. You're quite right.
Yes, Bottom actually had echoes, and there's a famous Hancock's half hour, of course, where they're all stuck in the house on a Sunday afternoon, and Rick and Aid particularly liked that and used it as a model for some of the scripts on Bottom.
A lot of Rick's expressions came from that Hancockian kind of delivery. You're right.
And Aid is Sid James, obviously. I mean, who could not see that? So, guys, we'll see you next week, maybe even twice, hopefully. And we'll let you know during the week which of two. And then we will do the other one a week later, because we're not going to do a lockdown theatre now, having done the special next week. So the next two shows, next two Sundays, will be the completion of Series 2 in whichever order. We'll let you know during the week.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's all dependent on the guest. I mean, I love both the remaining shows, so I don't care.
No, they're both good shows, but we just want to get the right guest for the right show.
Okay, guys,
David,
have a great Father's Day.
Anything you want to say, David, just as you leave us? Anything?
Thank you, David, so much.
Pleasure,
Great to see you again.
How did you enjoy your time on Dwarf, David?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was fantastic.
Good man.
Good man. See you guys. Stay well, and we hope to see you all next week.